Hello, it's me, Griff. Oh, what's that on my nose? Oh, you know what that is? That's a cat bite. My kitty sits on me in the morning and she bites my nose. But this is Griff and I'm in the Redwoods. You want to check it out? And today we're going to talk about something really cool. Oh, it's going to let me flip around. There we go. Look at the Redwoods. Look at this big, huge redwood. So today we're actually going to talk about something way smaller. We're going to talk about the Redwood Violet. I'm pretty sure this is a Redwood Violet. There's a stream violet that looks very similar. But I think this is a Redwood Violet. But what I'm going to tell you applies to the stream violet and the Redwood Violet. And one of the things that people always ask me about when I show them plants is they're like, is it edible? And you know what? Some violets are edible, but if you eat too much, you'll get the runs. And you don't want that to happen. And you don't want to eat violets all the time to have that happen. Because I was in the store the other day and I saw the adult diapers. And I was looked at the price for a friend. I was looking at the price for a friend. And and they're expensive. You don't want to eat violets and have to wear diapers because it's too expensive. I would just put kitty litter in my underwear or something. I couldn't afford them diapers like that. It's too much. But anyways, what I want to talk about is why flowers are a certain color. And to help you understand, to help myself understand, I think about when I was a kid. I was in youth groups when I was a kid. And we would go on these, belonged to two different youth groups, and we would go on these trips, these road trips and camping trips and backpacking trips. I loved it. And sometimes we'd be in these unfamiliar parts of California, and we'd be in these big cities, and there would just be like all like gray and brown buildings and some trees and stuff. And we were getting really hungry, but we had to look for like an indication that there was food somewhere. And so since we weren't rich kids, so it's like we had a few bucks. So we were looking for golden arches, or we're looking for a golden star with a happy face on it, or an old man with glasses and a bow tie, or a giant bell. And when we saw those, we tell the driver, pull over, take the exit. We pull up this fast food restaurant and we open the door and it would smell good. And we'd be like, oh, food, yay. We'd run to the door. And then sometimes in these fast food restaurants, they'd have like tiles of certain colors that went from the door right to the cash register where the exchange would take place, the exchange of money and food. And in a way, that's kind of like what one of our mini native bees. We got 1,500 native bees in California, I think 4,500 in the United States. And they're all small, and most of them, vast majority, don't sting at all, and they're beautiful, and they don't have hives and stuff. Native bees are interesting. Look into it. Maybe I'll do a video about them someday. Or butterfly, over the winter, it's in its pupa. And when it busts out in spring, it has two things in mind: food and dating, okay? And so it's got to find some food. So kind of imagine if you're a butterfly and you're flying around. Let me see if I can turn this around here. Come on now, help me out. All right, so imagine you're a butterfly or native bee, and you're like close to the ground, and you're like, where's the food? And everything's just kind of brown and gray, and it's hard to find some food. But oh, what is this? Oh yes, it is a violet flower. So hopefully I can really get into this violet flower. So the violet flower is yellow. So it's kind of like the golden arches for the bee. And the sea of this brown and green, sees this, and then see those like red stripes on it? Those are called nectar guides. So it's showing the pollinator where to land and then pointing them in the direction of the nectar, kind of like the different colored tiles on the floor in the 70s and 80s fast food restaurants that would take you where the food exchange happened. So the pollinator goes in there, drinks the nectar, and the flower says, hey, can you carry this pollen around for me? But the pollinator doesn't speak Flownese, so it just gets unknowingly covered in pollen, and it flies away and goes and finds another violet, and it takes its pollen-covered body and it visits that violet. And this violet's growing on top of a log. Isn't that cool? And it impregnates it. Now, that's pretty cool. It's called cross-pollination, and that's how flowers get new genes. Super cool. But you know what? Violets don't leave all their fate in the hands of just pollinators. They do something else. They make a second type of flower that doesn't have petals, doesn't have nectar, doesn't have color, doesn't have smell. Okay, because a lot of times flowers have smell, just like the fast food restaurant that attracts certain pollinators. But this type of flower, the backup flower, is called Clystogamist Flower, and violets do it. And so see these, and this is a picture from Veronica Yates, who works for Machola Restoration Council, sent me this flower because I couldn't find this picture because I couldn't find a picture of the Clystogamist flower. So that's not a flower bud. That's a mature Clystogamist flower, never blooms. It doesn't need pollinators because it's got male and female sexual organs inside there. It's bisexual, so it has both male and female sexual organs, and it impregnates itself. So it's, so the violet's using two means of creating seed. A flower to attract pollinators and cross-pollinate with other violets, and just making its own clone through this Clystogamist flower. Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine if we could do that? Get pregnant with your own clone? I know it kind of looks like I'm pregnant with my own clone right now because it's COVID, and these calzones and Miranda, which I never would have found out about them. They're delicious, and I keep eating them. But anyways, and the violets, once they do get pregnant or clone themselves, the seeds have aleozones on them that the ants spread. If you want to learn more about that, my video last week about not picking wildflowers explains how ants help carry seeds around of some plants, like Trillium, Fetida sung, and violets. So if you like violets, you should plant them. You should plant the ones that are native to your area. And you can find out in California by going to calscape.org, calscape.org. And if you're out of California, go to Native Plant Finder, because, again, one of the most powerful things you can do to help biodiversity is plant native plants in your own space. Plant native plants. Work, church, wherever. Plant native plants. And get this book. Here, let me just go out of here one more time. What's up, Harold? And Caitlin. So this book, Nature's Best Hope by Doug Ptolemy, is about native plants and why you should plant them. And it's in understandable language. And planting native plants really is nature's best hope. So please do it. All right. So I'm going to let you guys go with that. And I'll answer your comments when I get back home. And I hope you guys have a chance to come visit Humboldt Redwood State Park, or just get out wherever you can and look at the wildflowers. And remember, they're not colorful and pretty and smell good for you, although some of us were told that when we were kids. I was. They're trying to attract pollinators. And so let them do their thing. See you guys later.